So, this is our Catapult project by Aaron Slight and Alex Pally.
Alright, so here are a couple different types of catapults. The first type of catapult is called mangonel, and the mangonel catapult, if you look down here, has a bucket, and it has a spring, and an arm, and a rope, and a restraining rope. So what you're going to do is you're going to let go of the restraining rope, and the bucket will release from the tension inside the rope, and the ball will propel into the air. The mangonel is not as efficient as the trebuchet, which we'll cover in a second, and it's better for lower angles, such as knocking down walls, like in warfare and stuff. And this is a spring, or it's for torsion. You make a torsion bundle, and it's like basically twisting a bunch of ropes, and it gives a lot more energy than just a normal ropes tension. The next catapult is the trebuchet, and the trebuchet is basically the difference between the trebuchet and the mangonel is that the trebuchet has a counterweight and a sling instead of a bucket. It's very good at launching high angles, and it has a finger release that will release at a specific angle and let the ball go. Our last catapult is the onager, and the onager is very similar to the trebuchet in that it has a sling, except it does not have a counterweight. It is usually the tension or the torsion used to create energy is usually this type of thing where you have the twisted ropes. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, there are multiple kinds of projectiles. A projectile is any object that is cast, fired, flung, heaved, hurled, pitched, tossed, or thrown. The path of a projectile is called its trajectory. The primary force acting on projectiles is gravity.
A fun fact about projectiles is that Galileo used the cannon, which is a projectile, to research projectile motion, and he came up with the impetus theory, which maintained that an object shot from a cannon, for example, followed a straight line until it lost its impetus, at which point it fell abruptly to the ground. And of course this theory is slightly incorrect, and with more observations they discovered that when something is shot in projectile motion, it goes in a parabolic motion instead of a straight line. But it's a little interesting that that was what he first believed was projectile motion.
A timeline of projectile machines is 400,000 BC, the earliest evidence of humans using spears in a part of Germany now called Schöningen. And modern chimpanzees in Senegal use spears to hunt bush babies, suggesting the technology may have been used by our most primitive ancestors. From 40,000 to 25,000 BC, the atlatl, sometimes dubbed the Stone Age Kalashnikov, Russian word, throws a flexible dart that can kill a deer at 40 meters. Developed in northern Africa, it spreads throughout the world, being later replaced by the bow and arrow. Okay, the atlatl, or throwing stick, was used in recent history by Eskimos and Australian Bushmen. Evidence from North America suggests 10,000 years of use here.
In 20,000 BC, the earliest arrowheads date from this time, suggesting that bows and arrows were in use, and it's skeptical that perhaps arrowheads were used even in 60,000 BC. Thorough analysis of projectile points from archaeological digs around the world suggests that projectile weapons were not in widespread use before 50,000 years ago. In 500 BC, the traction trebuchet is thought to have been developed in China. Powered by teams of about a dozen people, it could sling balls of rock as far as 125 meters. Around the same time, the ancient Greeks developed their own siege weapons, the ballista, a kind of scaled-up crossbow. There's a picture of the ballista. This is just a video of a mangonel catapult. It's the video where the girl slings the watermelon and it hits her face. It's actually pretty funny, so you should check it out.
Energy used with catapults, it's mostly tension energy. Potential energy is stored as elastic tension within the ropes of the catapult. Gravitational energy, projectiles function because of gravitational energy. Objects from catapults follow a parabolic path and gain momentum after being released in order to cause the most damage. Torsion energy. A torsion spring works by twisting. Mechanical energy is stored in twisted elastic material.
So this is how the transfer of energy works in a catapult. First, there's the creation of kinetic energy by pulling down the bucket or pouch of a catapult by using muscle energy. Then, kinetic energy from the muscle energy changes to potential energy when tension in the ropes or elastics or twisted rope increase. And then, some kinetic energy is released as heat energy or sound, like, for example, if the catapult creaked. As the catapult releases, the potential energy rapidly changes to kinetic energy, and as the object flies through the air, kinetic energy changes to gravitational potential energy. Finally, when the object reaches its parabolic peak, the potential energy changes to kinetic energy. As the kinetic energy transfers to the ground, it often transforms to heat and sound, or it's consumed by the object traveling.
So this is our sketch of a catapult, very basic. I'm a horrible artist, but that's what happened. And we made a mangonel with PVC pipe.
It's
It's
pretty
a picture
fun.
of us.
And that's super glue.
PVC pipe glue.
Yeah. Here's some other fun facts. At first, catapults were specifically designed to shoot spears or other missiles at a low trajectory. That's not really fun, but it's just a fact. And then in the 20th century, catapults using hydraulic pressure were reintroduced to launch aircraft from warships. The word catapult comes from the two Greek words kata and pultos. Kata means downward, and pultos refers to a small circular shield which was carried in battle. Therefore, catapultos was then taken to mean shield piercer. So, here are Works Cited.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.